Hey everyone, this is Matt Wakeling and you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. This is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia, and I speak to leading guitarists and guitar professionals from all around the world. Now, for our first show for 2020, this is a special episode. Today, I'm talking to Scotty Salmon of Nautilus Effects Systems, who's come up with an incredible fundraiser which has just snowballed to benefit victims of the current bushfire situation in Australia. Now, many of our listeners are from Australia. No doubt you know full well what's going on. For our listeners overseas, it's very likely you've heard about the Australian bushfires as well. At times like this, the generosity of human beings really comes to the fore, and there have been so many fundraising efforts. Millions of dollars have been raised already by Australians and people all around the world, giving to the various agencies which will do the best good. One thing happening in the world of guitars in this nation, which is amazing and really pertinent to this show, I guess, is that of Scott Salmon from Nautilus Effects Systems in Canberra. Scott builds pedal boards, literally builds boards, puts together rigs for his clients, and distributes and sells some of the leading pedal designs from all around the world. Scott came up with an idea a few days ago to donate a pedal from his stock, set up a GoFundMe and invite people to donate. And for every $10 donation, people would go in the draw to win this pedal. He got in touch with other gear builders and companies that he was in contact with, in business dealings with. And many people jumped on board donating pedals and other bits of gear. Well, this thing has snowballed, and in just over 3 days has exceeded its goal of raising $10,000. Over 50 gear builders have gotten on board, and there's some incredible pieces of gear up for grabs for people to win after making a donation to the GoFundMe. So I thought it would be great to get Scott on the show, find out a bit more about himself and how he's put this together, and some of the incredible results that have come already. So I'll just jump in. Let's get into the interview. We'll find out a bit more with Scott from Nautilus Effects. Scott Salmon, welcome to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Really thrilled to speak with you. We're obviously here to talk about the Aussie Bushfire gear giveaway. But can you give us a quick background on yourself? And you run Nautilus Effects in Canberra. What's that about?
Yeah, so basically the majority of my work here is building guitar rigs and just traveling rigs for bands and artists that go on the road. Mostly revolving around pedal boards is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then on the side of that, as a part of it, I've naturally progressed into importing and selling guitar effects and a few things like that. So, all parts of the job.
Yeah, right. Cool. So that puts you in a good spot to know lots of dealers and distributors and builders and musicians as well, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, some of my suppliers and some good friends of mine down here at Better Music took me to NAMM for the last couple of years, and that's enabled me to get a bit of a repertoire of friends in decent places, So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Mate, we'll have to have you back again on the show, I reckon, sometime when talking in depth about your company, because it sounds awesome. I had a quick squiz on your Insta and all that stuff, and it looks amazing what you're doing.
Yeah, cool, man. Thank you. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess the pressing thing that we're talking about today, though, is the Aussie Bushfire gear giveaway. Tell me, this thing has snowballed. It's been amazing. What was the impetus for you to kick this off?
Man, to be honest, I don't know where it came from, other than to just say I just kind of had this thought the other night, and I think it might have been Kinky Guitar Pedals in Melbourne posted, because I follow them on Instagram, that they were doing a gear auction, and I thought, well, I mean, I've got gear, I could probably do something like that,
Yeah.
And I just sort of was trying to think about the best way to do it to raise some money, and it just kind of, my thought process snowballed into this idea. And as soon as I thought of it, I just knew, I've seen a lot of the communities at NAMM of the pedal companies, the way there's this mutual respect and this big kind of community of guys that just are all kind of in it together, and they all support each other. And I just knew that it would work. So I just thought, as soon as one guy gets on, all his mates are going to get on too, because it's pretty crazy down here, and people have gone to huge efforts to support things that are kind of less dramatic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I guess it's just how it happened. And I mean, being sort of in the thick of the smoke capital of the world at the moment,
Yeah.
and so close to Bateman's Bay and Sydney as well.
Hmm.
Like the fires are sort of the only thing on anybody's mind right now. So
Absolutely, yeah. We should note for the listeners, so you're in Canberra, which I mean, I guess people can Google a map, but where you guys are, you're pretty much parallel to the eastern seaboard. That's really getting, well, one of the eastern seaboards in Australia that's really getting hammered. But I don't know, like an hour and a half, 2 hours inland, I guess. So you've become your hometown, our national capital, has become a bit of a refuge for a lot of people.
yeah, it really has. I know the Queanbeyan Showground, which is Queanbeyan's the very closest point of New South Wales to the ACT
Yeah,
on that side
yeah,
toward the coast. Um, the showground's just full of people at the moment, and like all the high schools, libraries, you name it, anywhere big enough. I even spoke to a mate today that works at a hotel, and he said the hotel has opened all its doors just to let in people, to give them somewhere to stay. So we're chock a block, and everybody on the street is still, however many weeks, months on, just outside buying stuff to donate and deliver. And the effort here is just crazy. Like it's sort of just is what is going on right now, is just the fire, and it's
yeah.
not even here.
Yeah, amazing. So you get this idea to put a pedal up to start a giveaway. You've set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Um, what was the next step? When did people start getting on board?
Um, Look, I think pretty much straight away. I spoke to a couple of good friends of mine and sort of drafted the idea to them, and they said, you gotta make sure you do it the right way, so you're covered for liability and all that kind of thing,
Yeah, right. That's good.
um, and that it's actually set up in a manner that it's going to work and be efficient and whatnot. So I put a few hours thought in and just kind of went, well, worst case scenario, I give away a pedal that cost me, I don't know what, like, cost me $600 or something.
Yeah,
And then I thought, well, worst case, a couple of guys bid, somebody wins. The money for that is like me putting in a donation. You know what I mean?
yeah, for
So
sure, for sure.
I didn't really have anything to lose.
Yeah, great. And then the follow up. So what was your pedal, by the way?
I put up a Shinai pedal. So I'm the Australian importer and distributor for Shinai Effects in Austin, Texas,
Yeah, awesome, unreal.
which is a really good friend of mine, Bob. He's just an amazing guy to deal with. He's been really, really supportive from day one, and they've even put up a few pedals themselves. Um, and he's tried to help me a lot with logistics and spitballing and everything.
Yeah,
He's been amazing.
awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. And then do you remember? Oh, there's so many people on board. I'm not going to ask you to name everyone now because it's just gone nuts. But do you remember the first couple of people who jumped in?
The first couple of people, yeah, absolutely. The very first night before I even launched the GoFundMe page, I sent out an email to some of my good friends in the industry, and the first three to really get on board was Peerless Music,
Yeah.
which is Stephen Pegg, and those guys have probably been the absolute biggest contributor to this thing besides myself.
Mm-hmm.
Tone Pro Shop here in Canberra jumped on absolutely straight away,
Yeah, great.
and Roger up at Signal Chain responded to that too, and he made some donations. He's been really cool, offered a lot of help. So, yeah, in fact, I think everybody that was on the initial email, maybe bar one, has so far contributed
Wow.
at least pedals, and a lot of them pedals and money to the GoFundMe. So,
Wow, that's super cool. That's super
yeah,
cool. So I first heard about this I can't even remember what day. It might have been New Year's Day, or the 2nd or something. Today's, actually, you better talk through the dates. When did it start?
yeah. So I think this is our fourth day today.
Okay, and today's the
Um,
7th of Jan. So, okay.
yeah, I don't remember the dates off my head. I've got my computer in front of me. Just bear with me. I'll tell you exactly what it's up to
Yeah, awesome.
right now and how that's kind of gone down. So if I just refresh the page. Uh, so I think first day we had like maybe $2,000, I think, off the top of my head within the first 24 hours.
Yeah. Amazing.
Second was
And the
maybe
goal
we're up.
was the goal was 10 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So right now it sits at
Far
$11,877.
out.
So
Amazing.
in the first, realistically, three and a third days, maybe 3.5 days, we've already smashed the target. And I thought I thought 10 grand. Like, I thought it's probably ambitious, but it's not unreasonable.
Yeah, yeah.
And like we got the comp going till the 1st of Feb, so I sort of thought, yeah, over that time, enough people will get in. We might get close to that, but like it's just gone wild.
Wow. Unbelievable. So good.
And I think so far every day has been busier than the one before. So
Yeah. And man, so many people have jumped on, like gear builders. Like, it's interesting you said about the camaraderie between gear builders, because I had Brian Wampler on the show. I don't know, maybe a year, 18 months ago, and he said the same thing. I thought, wow, that's really interesting. That he's mates with Robert Keeley and all these guys. There's such a good brotherhood in a way, and I guess what you've proved is that that's very real, and given an opportunity or a framework to helping, people are super keen to get behind things and to serve as a true community.
yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of people in the sort of guitar world that have the understanding that, and I had this conversation yesterday, funnily enough, that there's something about the pedal community and about how creative and explorational it is building pedals and having that sort of ability to constantly evolve and change it up, that there's just more of a sense of community in the pedal community than there is in, say, like guitar builders or amp builders or something. And for whatever reason that might be, I think the guitar builders, their craft requires a lot of perfection and a lot of tedious labor and repetition,
Hmm.
whereas the pedal thing, it's like they're smaller units that take less labor, and they're less time consuming and less expensive. So the ability to constantly change up what you're doing is a lot easier as a pedal builder, I think, than say being a guitar builder building, Strats or Les
Sure.
Paul or something.
Yeah.
So I think that creative energy just refreshes the businesses that do it, and I think the attitude of the people that go towards building pedals maybe is a little bit more along that creative side and that sort of real, um, sort of that the kindness that comes from being happy and being super. I don't really have a word for it, but
Sure.
you know,
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That's cool, man. I guess for this sort of thing, for a company to donate a pedal, it's probably the perfect donation for a lot of guys. Like, it's not a guitar you've spent weeks building to spec or to a particular thing, or like you said, most builders will be a few $100 out, and that's incredible that they're contributing that. But it's probably a different thing than building an amp and giving that away or something like that. So it just seems to have snowballed to this huge pool of people. Do you know how many, as we speak, this is lunchtime on the 7th of
yeah.
Jan, because it's just changing so quickly, but do you know how many pedals or bits of gear you've got at the moment donated for prizes?
Pieces of gear, I don't. Builders, when I last checked maybe an hour or two ago, I think I had 53 builders contributing pedals.
Wow, that's
And
nuts.
yeah, and so far, that includes a couple that are donating like pickups, and I've got a guy who makes custom pick tins and stuff.
Yeah,
A few guys doing accessories and that kind of stuff, but the majority of it's been pedals. I mean, I deliberately called it gear giveaway because I didn't want to narrow it down to just
yeah,
pedals. I thought, we'll
cool,
see what we can
cool.
get.
Yep, sure.
But I mean, clearly it's the pedal community that's come to the party.
Yeah,
A lot of these guys are donating 2, 3 pedals. Um, so pedal wise, I don't know. And I think we've got about 40 up on the page already.
yep,
And some of them are creating content for me as we speak.
yeah. Wow, that's
Um,
great.
and I'm not reposting anything until those guys have made the commitment to put the content up there and stuff, because I don't want anybody disappointed or whatever. But
Sure, sure.
um, yeah, so far 53 builders, definitely more than 53 pedals. Um, I've got guys making videos. We've got guys. I got Spruce Effects up in Canada. I believe those guys went to the extent of building a custom pedal and actually laser engraving an Australian flag and stuff on there just to
Oh
do a
wow,
one off for this thing. I've
that
got
is so cool.
I've got guys doing collaborations. between the two of them to build something special for this. Like there's a pedal up there by Demodash Effects that's a one-off that he's done with another fella. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not sure how to pronounce his business name. Low Sounds is the guy, and he's doing I think it's acid wash kind of top finish thing for it. But
wow, cool.
It's a one-off pedal, and I'd seen this pedal posted on Instagram, and they were saying how cool it was and how special it was that it came out this way. And as soon as the guys got back to me, that was their suggestion to donate, was this thing that everybody's been talking about, was this amazing looking pedal that I've been seeing. So they just straight away gave off the one of a kind. Chris from Caseman's given a one of a kind pedal board that he did that he's been really proud of and sort of saving for something special, and he's decided to give that to us.
Yeah, unreal.
I got so much custom stuff coming, you know what I mean, that the guys are really just going out of their way to do. It's pretty crazy.
That's incredible. And you mentioned some overseas people. I was stoked to see that this has spread well beyond Australia. There's again, there's no way for me to remember everyone I've seen, but Tate Effects in the UK. I know Stuart. He's raised the dead fuzz, which is crazy. And
even guys like himself and the guys at Lollygager Effects.
Lollygager, yeah.
Peerless, like I said, I mean, I can literally name the 50 dudes on this list.
Yeah, right.
The work that they're doing building the pedals is like half the effort, you know, like these guys are all sharing, they're liking posts, they're just doing everything they can to get the word out there, contacting their suppliers, their friends. Like the effort they're putting in is actually so much more than just the pedals, you know what I mean? So
that's
crazy.
That's great. Yeah, I saw a great post from the guy from Gear Talk. Made a video.
Yeah, Jam.
Yeah, which is cool. Dan from that pedal show. Dan's an Aussie, of course.
Yeah, of course. I spoke to Dan this morning.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So he's in. I saw Nita Strauss from Alice Cooper's band sharing stuff. Like it's
she fantastic. How good she?
Yeah, man.
I mean, I haven't released it yet, but I got Josh from JHS. He's on board. He's going to be doing.
Oh, man. Awesome.
He's going to be donating a couple of pedals, and he's making a video for us as we speak, which is just amazing. I think a lot of guys in the industry think that between him and that pedal show, there's not a lot of better sort of vlogs out there and content. So
that's cool, man. That's so cool. Now, in the intro to this show, I did mention roughly how the giveaway works, but do you want to explain the nuts and bolts of it?
Yeah. So we had to make sure that we could do this in a way that was not going to sort of be a gaming offense or anything like that. It took a lot of kind of planning to get it to a way that was going to be done all legit.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story as far as how it goes is you just donate money to the page, and then my business, who's running that page, which is Nautilus Effects, we're going to take that information from the names and the details, and we're going to put them in a big barrel or however we do it, and we're just going to draw names and give away the prizes. So that way the competition is not really associated with the money and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's all traceable. Everybody's there. So
yeah, cool.
And we've also set up the GoFundMe so that we've kind of got control of the money as well. So even though we've dedicated where we want the resources to go, we haven't put in specific accounts or specific chapters of anything, so that we can, as time dictates, because I know a lot of money is being raised for a lot of places, and some guys are getting a lot more than others. I wanted to be able to make sure that it can kind of go directly to where it's going to be useful and not just end up in a bureaucratic pile somewhere that isn't helping,
Yeah, sure. So what are some of the agencies that you've pinpointed?
Yeah, so I did a bit of a poll actually, and everybody initially was like RFS New South Wales, but all the other charities out there raising for RFS New South Wales.
Yeah.
CFA Victoria, I know the Victorian guys, especially the last week or so, they've really had a rough time. So CFA and so many of our people helping out, our donators, they're all in Brisbane, Melbourne, that kind of thing. So I thought, especially I knew some of my guys like Deluxe Guitars that I deal with a lot. Signal Chain in Brisbane. I thought these guys are definitely going to be on board. Peerless, it's got to help their community sort of thing as well, you know. So CFA was very important, and we got that in there. We got RSPCA. We've also got wires because I've had a lot of people. I added that one afterwards because a lot
Yep.
of people wanted to see money go to wires. I got a bit of feedback about that.
Yeah, cool.
And then there's a thing down here called the G Spot, which is actually a food truck that's in my own suburb. And you can look them up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But these guys have done the most insane aid mission. It's beyond a joke what they've done. They've got this little food van that's in the car park of a golf course, right? And they've set up this drive where the guy who owns this little food van is liaising with all the emergency services and stuff. And they've arranged for him to have like literally just semi trailers turn up non-stop for the past. I think he said he started it in the middle of November. It's been going that long. And there's just been like a constant stream of people donating water and toiletries and food and just anything. And there's a constant pile of people down there right now just loading up trucks. And those trucks are being allowed special privilege to take supplies into places like Cobargo that are worst affected and stuff.
Wow.
And these guys they've been on it since before the government's been on it. You know what I mean? Like they must have donated millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff already, and they're still going. So I thought I'm going to donate some money to those guys, and hopefully we can do a bit of a video where we get some donations for them, and we can deliver it, and he'll provide me with some content. I spoke to him yesterday, so that the guys donating to our page can actually see it getting delivered to the guys where it's going.
Yeah, cool. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, man, it sounds like you've done this very wisely, and you've taken your time to work out how to do it, and you've gotten good counsel on how to set it up. So that's awesome as well. That's important for people to know that side of it, and the fact that it's just snowballed and continues to do so is amazing. And really, it's times like these where you just see the good of people and this idea of community. You know, it reminds me a little bit. I know it's on a different scale, but do you remember the tsunami around the turn of the millennium?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just people think people feeling so overwhelmed, and then looking for ways to help and looking for grassroots ways to participate is very moving and very amazing to see and to be a little part of.
Yeah, totally. You know, and I thought, I know what the community's like in the pedal world. I was like, guys are going to get on this. I didn't quite understand how much they were going to get on it, but I sort of knew it would at least rustle up a bit of help, you know?
Yeah, unreal, man. Well, that's cool. Well, listen, I need to let you go so I can post this really quick, and also so you can get back to all your flood of emails, because I know you're almost working around the clock to keep up with all this stuff. So
yeah, I've been doing what I'm calling 20-hour Instagram days at the moment. So literally 4 hours sleep. I've been on Instagram, just constant replies until 2 a.m. each morning, and then I get up, start work at 6, and I've been every spare second just replying to the builders and it, you know.
Amazing. Well, I'll put all the links in the show notes, but the best way for people to get in touch is to do what?
Literally probably straight through Instagram. So if I'm going to put something out there too right now as well that I've had a bit of questions about. We can't unfortunately take secondhand pedals from just people because we've got liability issues with that, with electrical safety, warranty, all that kind of stuff, which is sad because I had a lot of people wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But it's important that, you know, this thing stays all above board and as clean as possible, especially for all the donors involved donating pedals as well. So as much as we'd love to take people's pedals and we appreciate the help, we just can't take secondhand pedals. It's just how it is, unfortunately.
Sure. So through Insta, I guess if people go to the GoFundMe as well, if they just Google Aussie Gear Giveaway.
All the info's on the Instagram page. There's a link that you'll just see a post on there that just says competition details. That's got it all there.
Yeah.
Donate to the GoFundMe, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to touch anything else.
Yeah, cool. Sounds awesome. Well, Scotty, mate, thank you so much for your time, and good on you, mate, for jumping in, doing something practical, and it's been pretty exciting to see the results.
Man, it's been crazy. Thanks yourself so much for your help, and thanks to everybody involved. It's just been crazy.
All right, there you go. My conversation with Scotty Salmon. We will get him back after the 1st of Feb just to see how this all ended up. But it's pretty exciting, and it's just another example of the great synergy that can happen in music, both on and off the stage. I'll leave links to the gear giveaway fundraiser on my show notes for this episode, so please check that out. All right, wherever you are, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time on the Guitar Speak podcast. Bye now.